Well, with that introduction, hello everybody. I'm Barry B, a Bearcat stranded in space. Alongside me is
Timo Wimujin, your favorite slime detective,
sliming around, doing all his sliminess. And welcome to today's episode of Lost in Trans. Oh my god, my brain is having stutters. Okay, Lost in Transmission. Hello.
There we go.
For February 25th, 2024. So today we're gonna do something special. We are going to look at the Xbox podcast where they had a bunch of interesting announcements or so. Alongside that, we're also going to be reacting to an indie game trailer just because me and Timo, we are both Filipinos. And also, but we're Filipino Americans, so we only know somewhat of our own culture. So it's going to be interesting to see a Filipino indie game because not that it's rare, but we don't see it that often. So it's nice to see that part of the world having some kind of games coming out. Because recently we've had a lot of Southeast Asian games just coming out of the woodworks in the indie scene, like Coffee Talk or Samudra. I can't remember the mix of mostly from Indonesia or Malaysia or Singapore. Those kinds of indie games coming from that region. And then after that, we'll go on with our usual thing of talking about how we're all doing and some relative game news that we found interesting. And probably mostly Helldivers.
Absolutely, I love Helldivers. Such a good game.
I mean, I just need to show you guys what's in the background right now because this has literally been occupying my brain the entire time. Just a bunch of Helldiver memes. Anyways, all right, let's get started. Let me skip ahead to the.
So let's just some of the news.
The introduction. Oh my goodness!
About some.
They start right away. Okay, this is annoying.
And welcome to the official Xbox podcast. I'm your host, Tina Amini,
Yes.
and we have a very special episode today.
The funny thing is, the Xbox podcast has not existed except for like the recent 2 months or so, for 2 announcements. I forgot what the other one was, but this is the second one, and it's like, when did this show ever exist? I was like, all right. Sure, but
I haven't heard about it too much.
Honestly, I mean, that's one way to do informal announcements officially, I guess, in an official way. I don't know. It's a lot more casual. It's a lot more casual. Anyways, let's continue.
As you can probably tell by the fact that I'm joined by Phil, Sarah, and Matt, welcome. And we're going to talk about some updates at Xbox. We want to talk about game exclusivity. We want to talk about Activision Blizzard now that they're part of our portfolio, how that might be an impact on Game Pass. And we want to talk about hardware too and how all of this fits into the strategy at Xbox. So where should we start, Phil?
Well, when we originally had planned for the show, starting back in December, I think we probably would have started with Activision Blizzard. Maybe talked a little bit about the exclusivity with some of the news coming up and then hardware. But we've had some unforeseen news that has come out. So let's just go and tackle the exclusivity question because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people. We hear from the community and that's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games.
Okay, so I'm going to stop real quick there. The unforeseen thing we both know is the entire, like, what's it called? The entire Microsoft portfolio of like people that they acquired, right? All those studios, including Microsoft itself, had laid off a bunch of people.
Yeah, they've been a little bit short. They've lost a metric fuck ton of people.
Yeah. So that unforeseen thing is kind of like, I think there's some other things there.
A little bit soon.
Yeah, but I forgot. I think there were some other things, but that was the main one because over the past several months, from last year to now, it's like, well, they lost a lot of people. Good or bad, it's just like, that just sucks for the game industry in general.
It really does.
To the other consoles, just 4 games. Not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do that.
So these 4 titles, what are they? Can you say?
I'm not going to name those games. The teams that are building those
Peppa the Pig
games
too.
have announced plans that are not too
Bluey.
far away. As we know, game
Bluey,
teams put a lot of energy
please.
into their announcements with the partners. So I don't want to take anything away from those teams. So I won't be talking about the titles specifically, but I think when they come out, it'll make sense.
Can we say if either of those titles are Starfield or Indiana Jones?
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Well, what was the criteria in how the team was thinking about selecting those 4 titles?
In terms of the platforms they're talking about games that are going to be present, Microsoft games that are going to be available for the PlayStation.
Oh, I see.
So that was the main draw. People were wondering, and it's like, what's going on with Sony? Uncle Phil hasn't said anything, and that's why the days leading up to this podcast, a lot of people were speculating a bunch of stuff up the wazoo. Some of it I couldn't even keep up with, so I'm like, all right, well, we'll see.
We'll see what they pull out of their strings today.
Yeah.
Let me start a little bit outside of that, and then I'll get to the 4 specific games that we're talking about right now. Because the fundamental decision driver for any decision that we make, anything we're going to talk about today, is the long-term health of Xbox. That we're running a growing platform that is reaching more players, that our games are having as much success as possible.
Oh,
And
yes,
I do have a
Minecraft.
fundamental
No, I'm
belief-
sorry. When I said games with so much success, and I see Starfield, I'm sorry. No,
Oh
no.
god, Starfield died almost on launch.
Oh
honestly.
god, that game was sadly antiquated. And if you guys remember us reacting to it at E3, we were really pulling for it to be a more casual version of Star Citizen and actually be very fucking engaging.
I was hoping it would be amazing and all these things, but unfortunately it fell very short. And I'm upset about it, but what can you do?
Yeah, and I was just like, if anything, I was just more disappointed. Like, that's a letdown. But good thing I didn't buy it because that was $70. That was.
It hasn't even gone on sale. It's just consistently at $70 and it's horrid.
God, that's just painful.
It really is.
that over the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the game industry. And that's not some great insight, because if you look at the last 10 years and what the biggest games are today, it's a natural place. Whether it's one console and PC, multiple consoles, mobile console and PC, you see big games landing on multiple platforms. And we want to be a great platform for creators that are trying to realize that potential. But now back to the specifics of the question on these four specific titles. We looked at games that are over a year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while. A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, I'd say, on Xbox and PC. There's always
Hi-Fi Rush,
franchises that we obviously want to continue to
which I'd be fine with if that popped up on people's platforms, because it was a good game.
Honestly,
behind
yeah, it looks very fun.
Continue. We think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them, that they can have confidence that they're going to exist. In the
That one's
future. So two of them.
So
kind of-
service-based games.
Gundam Seed 2.
Gundam Seed 2. That's a different kind of servicing. But what's it called? No, the service-based games I'm not surprised on. Probably not like Fortnite or whatever, because that's already up in PlayStation. But like, oh no, there are so many games as a service games that I can't even think of what would be up. That's exclusively for Xbox, aside from like Halo.
I can't even think of it. Yeah.
I mean, like the multiplayer of Halo, but yeah, it's weird. Well, not that weird. It's just like there are just so many in the landscape right now, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't remember it. Everything is either a Destiny formula or a Battle Royale formula.
Oh, God.
And it's like, I can't tell what's what. But that's my opinion. That's
All
just
four
my
games are going to be Battle Royales. I can't wait for it.
Foam Stars. Oh, wait, no, that was Sony. Never mind. legally distinct, what do you call it? Splatoon, not Splatoon.
Oh,
Community-driven
yes.
games that will end
The
up on other
Splatoon game, that's not
platforms and give us
Splatoon.
the ability to continue to invest in them. We think that's great for the business and great for the communities. More players to play with.
I mean, that's always something that every gamer and their brother has always wanted, to be able to play with somebody on PlayStation or Xbox and PC and just all across the board. Because
Cross-platform.
yeah,
Yeah.
because in general, it's like I'm only lucky that I have the amount of consoles I do have and I have access to those. But like some of these were
Yeah.
like gifts, right? Not all. I didn't purchase all of these things.
Yeah.
And to play all the things, which is sadly how a lot of this stuff ends up marketing, even though you're not being told to buy and play all the things. Of course, as a consumer, you're gonna be like, but that looks fucking cool on that thing, and that one looks cool on that one. I want to play them all, and that's just the burden of of being a consumer. It's neither bad or good, and depends on you. But the thing is, it doesn't help, especially when a lot of your gamer ecosystem, right, is also multiplayer stuff. Because then it's like, well, I want to play with my friends, but they're over on that one. And, and that's why free to play for the longest time thrived, right? Because it's like, well, I can play this for free without any money going into it, like League or whatever, and play with my friends. There you go.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, what's it called?
I'm glad we're moving towards an point where we don't have to sit on one platform or be pushed into a corner to be like, oh, I have to buy this console to play with my friends, or they have to do this, or jump through these loops to enjoy these games now.
Yeah, and definitely we've actually I was just looking at Party Animals because my VTuber sister was going to originally play that, but it wasn't working for her. But a slow trend that's been popping up lately has been, especially for party games or something that requires another player, right? Only one person has to have a copy, and then the other version of the game is free for the other person that they give it to. Of course, it's that one other person, not like a bunch of people, which makes sense for the code wise. But it's just like that one is another one. It's like I'd like to see a little bit more of that, and it's like okay, we'll see where that goes. Bakura, I think, was another one where you outside of A Way Out and that other game that the developers from A Way Out made with the couple as little puppets. It Takes Two. It Takes Two. Yeah.
Yeah, It Takes Two. There we go. I was thinking I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, and so that one's interesting, and I'm wondering how else people can expand it. Now, whether or not they're gonna go into something like that, I don't know. But just looking at the general landscape of like where does exclusivity for consoles actually lie, right? It's interesting. It's interesting. Again, we're not experts. We're just opinions and stuff out of our butts.
We're just dudes.
We're just dudes who just think this is all fascinating.
We're the consumers. Yeah.
We represent the consumers. No, not a disclaimer. Or just represent myself as a consumer.
I'm a consumer. Probably not the best representation of a consumer.
Consume these nuts.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. All right, we go back and keep going.
Oh my god.
Two of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. But games that our teams really wanted to go build, that we love supporting creative endeavors across our studios, regardless of
that's why I was thinking Hi-Fi Rush was going to probably be one of those.
As they realize their full potential on Xbox and PC, we see an opportunity to utilize the other platforms as a place to just drive more business value out of those games, allowing us to invest in maybe future iterations of those, so sequels to those, or just other games like that in our portfolio. And when we don't damage Xbox and we can grow our business using what other platforms have and to help us with that, we're going to do that. And that's really the story behind these four games. And last thing I'll say, looking forward, I think there is an interesting story for us of introducing Xbox franchises to players on other platforms to get them more interested in Xbox. We think there's a good brand value for Xbox there. So 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not. And we're going to learn.
So when you are thinking about the future and this concept of live service games, games that can benefit from bigger audiences, new audiences, how does that apply to future titles and how you're applying that criteria there?
Yeah, there's really no fundamental change to how we think about exclusivity. We just came out of Developer Direct, which was an awesome show, where we showed great games that are coming to Xbox and PC and cloud, which really makes them accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So it's this kind of, we're really focused on a couple platforms and what's going to show up there. But our key of play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, when everybody plays, we all win. These have been part of our strategy for years and will continue to be. Our focus is on how do we continue to grow the games industry by reaching more players in more places, and how do we grow Xbox as part of that. Xbox is a hardware platform, Xbox is a publisher of great games, and Xbox as a platform for the world's best creators.
And then knowing that, how do we think about our first-party games and Game Pass?
Yeah, well, to build on what Phil just said, one thing I would add, when you were talking about growth, is just that we've sort of seen this inversion over the last 5 years where it used to be that the platform was the biggest thing.
That's right.
And the games would sort of tuck in within the platform. Today, big games like a Roblox or a Fortnite could actually be bigger than any one platform. And that really has changed the way that we think about things. So in the midst of all that, I think we at First Party can come back to sort of some core principles. First,
just thinking about that, it just reminds me SNES, all those older consoles. Yeah, games the way that they were made were definitely made to push the the console itself. Or you can only play this thing on here, but I mean that's always kind of been the thing anyways, but it's just the way it's marketed, the way it feels of how much do you desire that game on that platform. And like they were saying, Fortnite and Roblox, oh boy, Roblox. Do you play Roblox?
Oh my god, Roblox.
It's those are ones where it's that thing doesn't have any console borders, it goes all over the place. So it ends up having you really
it's everywhere.
Reevaluate. And it's what is the point of the consoles? Because let's be real, right? The PC, as it market itself, is, I'm not gonna say it's that niche, but it's not totally inclusive. Because again, you can make a gaming PC out of whatever value parts, but the thing is, performance-wise, right? It gets expensive, and that's why people have always opted for a long time for consoles, because it's it is all in one package that you can just put money on there and don't need to put even more investment in it technically. But as years have gone on, right, and technology's actually been relatively affordable, except recently, it's buying a console would be the same as buying a pre-built PC, and they both will function the same exact way.
Absolutely.
Or a little bit better, definitely better on the PC end. And that's something I personally learned, especially since my current PC right now is a pre-built one, and it's running everything that's been coming out recently, whichever I've been able to play, fantastically, better than my consoles, and also, of course, online accessibility with it. But as we've also seen with some other games, where it's if they are included as a PC version or what's it called, a port, that really varies, because only sometimes those PC ports can be really, really freaking janky, and yet totally fine.
They can be really wild.
Yeah, one of those was definitely the remaster of Alan Wake 1. Play it on consoles, because the thing is, you won't have the same performance and lag issues that you get on PC. Yeah.
Oh.
And you
really?
and you have to launch it from the Epic launcher.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, because they have a partnership with Epic. Now, the thing is, does that mean the original one from Microsoft, published by Microsoft, that one's still available on Steam as far as I know, and that one performs totally fine. It just looks a little dated, but it's not that bad. It really just looks like a 360 era game. That's it.
Yeah.
So, all right, continuing on with their first party stuff.
That all of our games will be on the Xbox platform. Second, all of our games will go into Game Pass on day one. And third, we know that Game Pass will only be available on Xbox. So there's sort of starting points for us. As Phil
Games
mentioned,
on your
there are
Xbox.
games today that you can play that only can be found on Xbox. And at the same time, we want to bring more of our games to more players. So we're going to continue to look at that. Kind of moving aside, though, from some of those and thinking more about what does it really mean for the player, to me, the two key things are cross-play and cross-save. Those things allow us to deliver on the promise of Xbox, which is play with your friends where they are, play on the devices you want, play the games you want. So that is really only possible at a practical level when you know that your saves and your player are going to be able to move across all those parts.
Basically keeping it within an ecosystem, which is, what the
Yeah.
Xbox for PC or whatever thing is. And technically, they've been trying that for a long time with varying degrees of dedication, right? Mostly definitely this generation. And I'm not on Game Pass, even though I should, but at the same time, I don't want to spend money.
I'm not either.
The thing is, it's one of those things where it is worth it, and a lot of people that do have it enjoy it. It's just sadly business wise, as far as I've heard, this is just my opinion. What I've heard is that profit wise, it's as profitable as YouTube. Let's say that, in the sense that itself as a platform does not generate enough money to sustain itself. But the thing is, it's such a great deal for those who use it that it's like, well, we can't get rid of it. But how do we keep pumping money into it, right? Because the thing is, that is a great deal. You get a free game. And then other games on discount when they launch. Sometimes.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like, in general, you end up getting a pretty good deal out of Game Pass. And it's like, oh my God. So I'm just going to say we're fanboys. Yeah, maybe, kind of. But the thing is, when you look at PlayStation's, it's utterly abysmal. But the thing is, PlayStation success is more based on, again, the quality of its games, especially if it's exclusive, and because it invested in gigantic, big blockbusters, which we will talk about later on how that's affecting them for the coming year, actually.
So not all of our games today are necessarily built to take advantage of that. There still will be some games that don't. As we bring more teams into the Xbox family, there's some catch up to do as we get there. But that cross-play, cross-save is like so fundamental to what we're doing. And I think is something that we as first party get such a good benefit from being so close to the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things, like you said, all of our games are always in Game Pass. And so I'm excited to announce, with the coming together that we had with Activision Blizzard King, that Activision and Blizzard games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Diablo 4 on March 28th, which I'm super excited to share today. And it's all part of our commitment.
I didn't need to spend my $80 fucking dollars.
The Xbox experience and the game.
No, I did that because I wanted to play early access with friends and stuff, and it was fun. I just haven't got back to it. We should get back to it.
Eventually, I don't know.
Eventually. We'll just have to see
I
how...
think the game is just, I don't know. I got burnt out.
Yeah, that, what was it? All of us played that for a solid, 2 months?
Yeah.
2 months? Just went at it hard. I think what got me was... Yeah, well, the thing is, what also got me was the end game just was not interesting.
It feels barren. I don't know what to do when I'm done with the story. Honestly,
yeah,
I understand go into the harder worlds and stuff, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but the thing is, the story, more or less for me, was the one that fueled me to go, oh, I want to do all these things, and then keep going.
Yeah.
And then after the story, it's like, well, now it's just side quests, and these side quests aren't that they're not interesting,
engaging.
Yeah. I mean, then again, the rest of it, Diablo, because I'm technically new to Diablo, but from what I remember seeing, especially when I was younger, it's like, well, it was always dungeon diving and then selling your gear to other people. And I'm fine with the dungeon diving. I don't know about the weird meta market thing, and that's not my jazz. But yeah, maybe we'll see if the new expansion, whenever the hell that comes out, is interesting. No, I'm not holding my
when it comes out.
Neither do I. But I'm not holding my breath on it being I suspect that expansion is probably gonna be $20 or something.
Oh god, yeah, on
or
top
more.
Of my already $80 that I spent on the game.
Yeah, also knowing Activision Blizzard, but oh well, we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see how
games
it
that we
goes.
build is widely available as possible. So now the 34 million Game Pass members can all enjoy the fantastic experience of Diablo 4.
Amazing. Can we come back to the point, Phil, you mentioned at the top, this isn't really a change in strategy for us. Can you recap for me how it isn't?
Yeah, and I thought both Matt and Sarah did a really nice job of talking about what we're doing on Xbox, where we're going. You know, if you take a platform feature like Xbox Play Anywhere, which has been a promise that we've made on our first-party games, that you can buy our game once, you're going to get to play across Xbox and Windows. I think we're the only platform that does this. That makes it possible for you not only to play with your friends wherever they are, but to know that you actually have multiple entitlements to the games. I think that's a technology I would love to see applied to more platforms. But it is this view that people are going to play Xbox in multiple places. Whether it's play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want, whether it's content, community, and cloud, whether it's when everybody plays, we all.
Okay, not gonna lie, I don't see too many people playing their games on Microsoft phones and tablets.
I really don't either. I don't think I've seen anyone in my whole existence. I don't understand.
The last time I ever saw like a Surface tablet that could actually game or something like that or whatever from Microsoft was like back in like 2012 or something like that. And that was I don't even know if the program was around during in 2012, but it's like those products I don't know. Microsoft phones maybe, but I rarely see a Surface tablet now.
Oh no. I don't either. I think I see more MacBooks than I see Surface tablets or even laptops either. I don't know.
No, I'll probably say this: it'll probably be more functional than games for Mac, games for Apple.
Oh god, yeah. I feel bad for anyone that does try to do any form of gaming on like MacBooks. Bless their hearts.
God, I don't even know what the state of like Apple games is right now. I know they have like a bunch of indie games and a few exclusives, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Actually, one of the ones I remember way back in E3, I wanted to play that because it was a partnership with Annapurna. It was only on Apple. I'm like, God damn it, I can't play that game.
Oh no.
I forgot what it
God
was.
dang it.
But yeah.
And like we've had different taglines, different strategy, kind of words that we've used, but always with this view that Xbox is a platform for creators who want to reach the most players. Our investments in xCloud, our investments in franchises like Minecraft and now Call of Duty and other large franchises so that we learn how to build those. This has been a strategy that we've been on for, I'd say, a decade.
I forgot that was the name. xCloud.
I didn't know it was xCloud. I thought it was just Cloud.
Yeah, I thought it was just Cloud, too.
It's not about one device. It's not about games in service of a device, but rather the devices that people want to play on should be in service of making the games as big and popular as they possibly could be. Because really a healthy creator community on Xbox, a healthy creator community in gaming all up is the thing that all of us as game players should be voting for, because that's the thing that will lead to the best long-term success and growth in this industry.
And my understanding just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox is that we see trends with player behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And we have put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we have shipped games on other platforms. In fact, realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation.
Yeah, but looking at let me go back. Let me see if I can get that list. Looking at this list.
Looking at this cast. Yeah.
Candy Crush. Because King, the stupid mobile.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. How many of these were successful last year?
Unfortunately, Overwatch is very successful.
So Overwatch is very successful, and yet I still hear people grumbling about it, so I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. I haven't heard of StarCraft in a while. World of Warcraft, it is booming right now, actually. I've heard tons about it with they just released on like expansions on Classic. And I even tried it for a little bit, but unfortunately
wait, why does it for Classic? Why does it just sound like a re-release of stuff that happened from more than 10 years ago anyways?
Well, that's just how it is. Basically, people want the nostalgia, and then I think there's like extras that they're adding into the old story and like old
Now,
basic, like game of it.
is it just having it return to the original aesthetic before like how it
I think
changed to
so.
now? Okay, that's an interesting thing. Not
Yeah,
unheard of,
yeah.
but it's
Well,
just
they
like
did the same thing with a game called RuneScape that I used to play. Like people
Mhm.
liked how it was before they changed it. So now they have like a separate. It's still RuneScape, but they have like a separate version called 07 Scape, which is just like in 2007 is where people found it to be the peak. So they put it into like a separate server that they're running in the older version. Now they're just running it in a separate game based off like community and their own separate devs. Then their mainline game is just what they changed it to, and they just do their mainstream stuff basically.
Yeah, I hate to say this to a lot of people who love RuneScape. I tried it,
Yeah.
and I went,
Wow.
especially thinking about the games that were out and around like 2007, because I was solely a
Yeah.
console player. So when a friend of mine told me, "Hey, you should get on RuneScape," I've tried. I'm like, I'm stuck in the tutorial, and these
Oh,
graphics look horrible. And I was like, why am I playing this?
Oh no, I loved it so much.
I mean,
Yeah,
again,
I
not
loved it so
disparaging
much.
anybody. That's just like how my experience was, and that's why I dropped it. Very petty, I know, but that was.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
It's
this
not
is
for everyone.
the thing is,
Yeah.
it's like this is like a kid in elementary school going like, but I've played Halo and Call of Duty and all these other things, and then I'm gonna play this. But it's just funny too because I have nostalgia for freaking Command and Conquer, and that's sprites.
Yeah. Oh God.
But yeah,
Wait till you try Roblox.
that honestly, that is a separate rabbit
Excitement.
hole that just like scares me. Not because I don't disparage it. It is interesting, and I find it fascinating. The amount of like stuff people have expanded within it is like a mixture of Gmod and Minecraft. But it's also
Oh,
one of those things
God.
that's just like this. It just looks so large that it's like I don't know if I want to jump into that. And my 20,000 other
Basically,
accounts
it's
of stuff.
Yeah, it's just like a basic platform, and you have like a character you can customize however you want. Like they have like their own not stock market, but like their market and value. Like things write and drop in value, and it transfers like real money.
That's where
And
you
it's,
also
like,
wonder if
people
it's
just
like,
make games.
Yeah.
within Roblox.
yeah, I've seen the games
Yeah.
within it, but also like, man, at this point, it's just like. That's why I was saying it's also reminds me of like the early days of like not early days, but like the height of like Gmod, where it's like this is basically like chat VR without the full VR stuff type of thing. This type of like social.
Yeah.
It's not even a game; it's just a social like virtual environment. And I was like, which
it's fun
Wh-
enough.
yeah, which I don't disparage anybody jumping into that either. It's just like that's cool. It just intimidates the crap out of me because it's like I don't know what the
Yeah,
thing. I
There's so
enjoyed
much going on.
watching people going into that just because that's just crazy and fun, especially whatever random adventures they end up in. Because I used to a
Yeah.
lot of the content creators I used to watch. Again, the reason I'm bringing up Gmod a lot is because that was the thing I was exposed to. Even though I couldn't play Gmod, because I didn't have a game, I didn't have a PC that could fucking run anything back then.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
But like I
So-
remember watching people doing social spaces on that outside of like what's it called Death Run and what is it? Trouble in Terrorist Town, which is the one of the early versions of what we would all go, oh, it's like
God,
Among
yeah.
Us. It's like Among Us, yeah.
Yeah, Mogus.
I wonder if people even remember that game mode.
Oh, God, it was ages ago.
I
I'm
mean-
sure there's people that
I mean,
still
Prop
remember it.
Hunt. The idea of Prop Hunt came from Gmod, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Um,
anyways, back to it.
Largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something
Which I would
that we want-
sorry to get pauses again. I'd say that's the part that people keep underestimating. Yeah,
Mhm.
what's it called? I mean, I don't know if people are still have that mindset of oh, games on your phone aren't real games. I mean, because that's the one we.
it's something.
Because the thing is, that's what we grew up through, right? That entire thing of like
Yeah.
playing on your phone. Jeez, now people are playing fucking Genshin Impact and all that type of stuff.
God, Honkai.
Was it punishing
Or
of great?
dating sims.
What was it called? Punishing of Grey Raven, stuff like that, where there's legitimate
Oh,
free to play
yeah.
action stuff, and it's like, all right, or whatever games.
There are some cool games on
Yeah.
mobile now.
So I don't mind that you try to corner the market. Now, saying whether or not the games that they have are that. I don't think so. I think it's because they have King acquired, so that's just fucking Candy Crush.
Yeah.
But again, the casual
Imagine.
market, and this is why for any industry, everybody wants to corner the casual market because the casual market is the largest market because it's a lot of people.
Yeah, people
And-
just want to play casually. They don't want to like grind their life off.
Yeah, but that being said, it doesn't mean that you should abandon any focus from your core audience. No, you always got to focus on your core audience and satisfy them in some way because that is the foundation of whatever your stuff is built on. And
Yeah.
but I understand you can't always rely on word of mouth or like the osmosis of people going, "Oh my god, this thing is so good," and then normal people coming in and descending on it because they heard about it. Because that varies from game to game. Helldivers is one of those games. I'll definitely say that. We'll touch on that a little later. Because I definitely know I probably convinced you and Sev to get into Helldivers just because I wouldn't shut up
know.
about it.
It looks so fucking cool. I just wanted it so bad.
Oh god, you have it.
I know. That's
Alright.
this very
To back
moment.
away
I
from.
have
We
played
want
so
to
much.
continue to be
I
building
know.
great games that millions and millions of people can love, and that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us as leaders in this business, the system today, the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in our Xbox business is critical to the long-term health of Xbox. Many people know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years, and I want to make sure Xbox is in the best position for the next 20 years.
That man owns a
That means
PS5.
healthy player community,
He
healthy
has said
creator
it.
community,
He does have a
and healthy
PS5.
business. So when we look
Or
at
a PS4 or whatever.
opportunities to allow more people to play, more people engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all
Okay,
about
that is another thing actually that you just brought up reminds me. It is so weird for people who work over in like Microsoft or some other places, or even like game studios that quote unquote are exclusive to other platforms. It's weird when people go like, "But wait, you play these games? Aren't those on this platform?" It's like, dude, the quote unquote beef
Yeah.
between consoles
Well,
only
it's important.
only exists like for the fans or whatever. It doesn't exist business wise. It's just more like, yeah, they're gonna compete with each other or whatever. But in terms of the studios, especially the studios, right? A lot of them are either friends with each other or know each other in some way and played each other's stuff because the thing is they're people. They'll be interested in what they're interested and play
Yeah.
what they want to play. That's why when people go like, "Oh man, this game has this kind of influences," maybe because those developers probably played that game and maybe those are some cool features we can include in our game. Now it's more about the execution. Pal World.
Yeah.
Anyways,
there.
but granted, that one's doing very successful, especially since they had a Twitch rival. I wasn't expecting that, and I don't know how that worked out. A whole
Oh,
Twitch
yeah.
rivals thing with Pal World.
I don't either. I saw and I was really confused.
Well, if there was any more doubt that something was gonna happen, I'm gonna say that so far as of this date, Pal World seems totally safe still.
yeah.
If they got a whole
Seems
like
well-balanced
official like
enough, honestly.
Twitch, yeah. But especially if like in terms of like business wise, Twitch is just like, yeah, we'll have a Pal World tournament.
Yeah, fuck it, we ball. Well, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll do something all right.
Yeah.
putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that
Yeah.
your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully accepted that we're going to have Xbox players across all kinds of devices.
So I think a lot of people think about 2023 as this incredible year for gaming, and in a lot of ways it was. There were some really amazing releases that I think we all enjoyed. But what were the signals behind the scenes that maybe indicated how we wanted to look at the future of Xbox and how we kind of keep up with the industry?
Yeah, such a good
Don't forget the fumble that was Redfall.
God.
question. And I think it's, as people who care about the industry, which I assume is people who are watching this, it was an amazing year. Some great launches, some of the games that I think will stand the test of time and people will be talking about a decade from now. But it's an industry that didn't really grow. And what happens when an industry doesn't grow? You end up with some job eliminations, which we had. We had even our own hard decisions to make about building a sustainable business for ourselves, but in no way were we alone in that. When you think about a healthy industry, I want players who believe that they will find the best games on the platforms that they love. I want people who invest their careers in working here to feel like this is a place that they can be successful. And that really is down to being part of an industry that is growing. If you listen to Lisa Su, the AMD CEO, she'll say that AMD-powered consoles are likely to decline in 2024. I think there's an amazing set of games coming in 2024, but if we don't get to growing as an industry, the industry will struggle. And today there's really two choices on how do you grow the industry. Do you say I have a fixed number of players, the players that we have today, and do I find new ways to monetize those players to get more money from the players that I have? Or do you think about how do I expand the business I have by finding new players and adding those to the base of players that already play? Our focus on Xbox for the last decade has really been on that latter point of how do we make sure Xbox is growing for our players, growing for our creators, so those people are finding success on our platform, which will grow the Xbox business and put Xbox in a position to be very strong for years and decades to come.
Matt, earlier you were talking about these growing gaming communities, how they're incredibly large and comparable on such a different level when we think about console audiences. Like you mentioned Roblox, you mentioned Fortnite. So how are we're obviously thinking about our responsibility, our hardware responsibility is supporting the growth of gaming communities. How has that actually shown up for the players? Are there other games we can speak to from our portfolio?
Well, as Phil mentioned, two of the biggest ones for us, Call of Duty and Minecraft, they are driven just from the bottom up by the communities of people that play those games, which is so great. I think about it for the player community, it comes down to where are the friends, where are the people you play with, and then equally important is where have you built up your library of games, right? Where have you invested? Where's that library? I think those two things probably are some of the biggest influences on where people choose to play and what devices they choose to play.
Yeah.
When we think about, on the other side, the developer side, just any game developer wants their game to find.
Yeah, I think we talked about this already, so I'm gonna skip ahead.
Yeah.
Like we essentially
Go for
like yeah, and gonna like go over this thing because honestly, I think we're talk about that in general because what's normal now is whether it's PlayStation and or Microsoft, you're always going to have a PC release by default, or try to have a PC release of one of your larger games. Or
I'd hope so.
yeah, because the thing is that is a market obviously you cannot ignore. PlayStation obviously with Helldivers, and you're not gonna hear no end of me referring to Helldivers today. That was, and I forgot, I didn't know that was a Sony thing. It's a Sony game.
Yeah, it is a Sony thing. Yeah, it's a Sony game.
It's a Sony game. But they also released it on PC. And then there's a whole bunch of like ones on Xbox that we know that they released for PC. Halo Infinite, a few other things. I can't really remember outside of like the fucking year of 2020.
I can't either.
Of 2020 and whatever after that, because honestly, that's a blur. And to what we're seeing right now is over the games industry, I feel like it's just like the after effects of what was happening investment wise for these companies when COVID hit, or right before COVID, and then as it hit, right? Because by the time we hit 2023, we saw a lot of great games, but also a lot of games that launched fell on its face and tripped into the fire.
Back into the grinder.
And then the sad part is because even despite those successes, right, industry wide, for whatever reason, a lot of these companies decided to go, well, we got to downsize, right? After making all these acquisitions. I mean, Xbox was the more obvious one who made a bunch of acquisitions of smaller studios.
God, yeah.
But, I mean, remember, there were also other ones. I can't remember which ones, but also
small
just
indie company.
Yeah, but also like the small indie company, David the Diver, the small indie company from Nexon or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But sadly, when those changes happen, right, that's when you end up seeing people laid off, and it always sucks. Now, the reasoning for those, it varies, but as far as I know, it's like a lot of that is like, really? The way that they have to save the bottom line. And that's per company. That really is per company. It isn't like Microsoft when all these companies must lose out on their employees or this and that. And I know we were like ragging on. Yeah, it's just like the same thing with when we were ragging on Sony and Destiny. It's the same thing because it's per case. Because that one was totally scummy from what we were hearing on that one, which was just which is just Bungie trying to go. Well, we need our bottom line to go up because we know we're not getting any money because we're not doing any updates for our players. God. Let's see. What is their future for the hardware? I don't know. They're definitely not going to be abandoning it because that's what they're going to say in this next session.
Goddamn 4090.
So we're talking about the
4090. Are you sure
you're going to slap a 49 on it?
No, are you sure it's just not the 2% of the? Never mind. I'm not going to refer to that drama. I want to stay away from that one. 2%.
Role that hardware plays for creators, for the games and those communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business, for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to run great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for Xbox than ever before by nature, thousands of them by nature of those investments.
This just reminds me of that old meme. There's thousands of us. Thousands!
I love that meme.
So because the thing is, we're gonna hit the summary about this entire thing soon. Essentially, what they're trying to do is, because this is what this podcast essentially is, to ensure investors that no, these are what the changes are, but there's nothing like horribly drastic happening right now.
There's nothing changing that much.
Yeah. Because the thing is, a lot of people were like wondering, is Xbox just going to turn into Sega? That was what I was hearing too, where it's like, okay, they're only going to be publishing games. They're no longer going to be selling hardware. No, they're still going to be selling hardware. Because that would be a big drastic change. Not saying that would be bad, but I'm just saying
Xbox 2 and 3 years from now.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that's bad or is it good. But it's just like the thing. Where it's like, yeah, they're trying to prioritize what they can to generate profit. Because let's be real, Sony is still at the top, and for understandably so, why they're over there. Mm-hmm. But as a business, right, who's trying to stay as second best, right? You got to expand. And the thing is, I still say this: the Xbox, my experience with Xbox and the like UI or whatever with some of the systems, I've had my problems with it, but for the most part, is way more navigable than anything I ran through PlayStations.
Oh God, yeah.
Because sometimes, even like with the PS5, like my dad has PS5. He ran through it, and I looked through some of the stuff for him. It's like some of this stuff feels like it still hasn't changed outside of the PS3 era.
No, it's still the same GUI, basically. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
I mean, don't fix if it's not broken, I guess. But like then again, it's just like sometimes it's a little bit hard to navigate through. Like there are times where like I randomly disconnect, and I'm just like, oh, I have to reconnect online. I'm just like, oh, I gotta go back to like homepage. Run through my profile, click my profile, go down to like connections, and then run to connections, and then connect to my Wi-Fi. I'm just like, dog, just like one button, please, just like a reconnect. Make it a little bit easier.
But then again, we small brain, we share brain cell. It's just like, too hard, too much scrolling.
I sit there for like 5 minutes, like recalculating. I'm like, what do you mean?
But then again,
I'm not online.
I think this is just the thing with like in general for stuff, not outside of PlayStation, where a UI needs to be easy to read and navigable, but you can still have it be aesthetically pleasing. Mm-hmm. The problem is there's a lot of them that are out there that are aesthetically something, and then you go, I can't find shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like make it palatable, basically. Yeah. Not everyone is like fucking neuron scientists. Like it's a little hard.
Neuron scientists.
Yeah, you understand what the brain cells are. Not here.
And we got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday, and we're also invested in the next generation roadmap.
It's going to be skin
and what
for
we're
the
really
Xbox.
Focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in building.
And then when we're talking about hardware too, there's these other considerations that are really important to our community, probably to each one of ourselves as well. When you talk about library, because I want to dig in on that a little bit more. You know, as we talk about cloud in the wider entertainment industry, there's conversations about streaming. How is that impacting how I own my content that I've invested in? So,
well, according to Ubisoft, you don't own your content ever, and it's overrated. God. Speaking of owning your content, I didn't put this on the docket, but it came out like during the past week. Apparently, Funimation is closing, and whatever's left of their library is moving over to Crunchyroll. Because you got to remember, both Crunchyroll and Funimation were owned by Sony, I think they're both owned by Sony. As far as I remember, Crunchyroll's owned by Sony. The sad part is, any of the like physical copies you pre-ordered, I think those are now gone. Or like the physical copies you have of anything you got from Funimation, save those, keep them, because some of the really old archived stuff might just be disappearing. Because Crunchyroll's not going to be able to hold on to all of that library.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I think I heard was they jacked up the subscription prices on Crunchyroll. I don't know about.
Yeah, they have.
Do you know how much?
Oh God, I don't have the number on the top of my head, but they have. I know a while ago, I think it was like $1 or $2 when originally they were starting to merge, because I originally had a subscription to both Funimation and Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, they're just like, oh, by the way, you can just transfer your subscription for a credit on Crunchyroll, and that's originally what you did. But I think it went up by like $1 or $2 per month to do it.
What was the original subscription?
I think it was like $8 USD. If I remember correctly, for like the base lowest level, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah,
I think nowadays it's like 12 or 10 USD for base level.
And then
let me double check that.
Yeah. And I think it went up. I think because the standard or one of the common like price now is like almost like $12 or whatever. Or at least $10 for a subscription. Not for Crunchyroll, but I mean in general for like streaming services, which I definitely know they have gone up. Amazon Prime is like $16.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, so originally it was around, for like base level, I think it was like 5 USD. Now it's $7.99 per month for base level Crunchyroll.
How much for premium?
Which is for premium, the step right above it is called Mega Fan, which is $9.99 per month, and then above that's Ultimate Fan for $14.99. So at base level, you get basically, you can watch the anime, but like a couple hours after it has aired. With the one above, you can watch it as it aired. So like it airs, you can watch it like basically in Japanese, no real subtitles, but like the moment it comes out, you can watch it basically. But you also get a thing, like a little bit of like, not a kickback, it's like a discount if you buy anything like items, mugs, figures off of the Crunchyroll store, and then like a cheaper like shipping. And then you get a bigger like discount if you go to the highest level, which I did to do a couple Gundam things and then a couple figures at one point. I remember that much. But I no longer have Crunchyroll because there is better ways to watch anime now.
Anyways, we will not endorse such things, but we don't discourage them either. Wink, 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 wink. Especially with how much things are getting. Wink, 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 wink. Anyways,
thank you, Sony.
Yeah.
What can we say about our stance around game preservation?
Yeah, one of the highlights for me of being in this position was getting to stand on stage when we announced back compat coming to Xbox One. Like,
I've never heard of him refer to backwards compatibility as back compat.
Yeah, I haven't either.
That was the first one, but yeah, no. Between the two systems, Xbox backwards compatibility has been more or less the best in functioning. Yeah. And yes, you can repurchase some of the old games, but like a lot of the stuff that they'd have put on their library, if you did own it, right, and put your disc in, it goes like, yeah, I recognize this. All right, that works.
Good enough.
Which I was just like, damn, that's cool.
It's an Xbox logo.
I'm just sad that they can't put more in the library right now, or at least for the original Xbox, which I can understand, but still, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
People were reading the teleprompter before I could read it. Slow reader, and just feeling the energy in the auditorium as we were saying that, and online. One of the cues I think us as being part of Microsoft take is looking at Windows and how Windows over decades has maintained software compatibility with things that are built on it. Like I can still go back and play some of the games that I love playing on Windows from decades ago, and it will still run. And we try to bring that same view to consoles. It's harder in console because the line between what the hardware is and what the game is in consoles is traditionally, it's tighter, which makes compatibility, you end up doing these generational compatibilities that we've built. But I will say compatibility, the ability to not only play the games, but my saves are still there with our cloud save systems to try to keep the services up as long as we can so that people can play, is a tenet of what we are as Xbox. It's at our foundation. And when we look at future hardware generations and what we're going to support, making sure that we respect, which is the word I use, respect the investments that people have made in Xbox going forward is fundamental. And the fact that you get entitlements when you buy a game from us on both Windows and Xbox also means you have the ability to play that game across a multitude of devices, which I think furthers the compatibility of the games that you own.
Can we go back to what Xbox stands for today? I think we've pretty much covered.
Well, Xbox stands for Experience Box, right? Like
Experience Box.
Nah, we're gonna skip that part, and I think we're done with this. For the most part, because now it's more or less PR stuff. I mean, it always was, but yes, enjoy the memes behind me, people.
PR.
So overall, I know people have been already talking about this because this came out this came out 9 days ago. Okay, I felt like it was out longer. My brain in time, but like, I on a random note, I find it funny. I have Timo positioned to the meme. It's coming.
It's coming.
The Twister dude.
It's coming. It's coming. I do, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just moving you around. Yeah, I have you like right next to him. He's and then below you is Sad Pepe on the floor at McDonald's.
Oh god, yeah, I love Sad Pepe. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's me.
Yeah, it says orbital strike inbound, and he's holding the orbital strike as he's like on the fucking ground. The thing is, we know about that because we've done it in Helldivers. It is, oh my god,
It's fucking hilarious. I love it so much.
All right, but like overall for Xbox, it's funny how much news that thing got beforehand because it was mostly people speculating, like, oh my god, some big changes are happening. No, not really, but it's probably a step towards something definitely larger. Exactly what, but definitely probably going to have some more involvement with Sony in some way, but not as much as people would be thinking. Like, oh man, they're going to move libraries over there. No, I don't think so.
Four games.
4 games for now, and I feel like there probably will be a few more later on, but it depends on what. Because, you got to go to a market, you got to advertise your stuff on a market that a lot of people are on. And again, without a doubt, PlayStation has a lot of players. Because it is the top console right now.
Outside of PC.
Outside of PC, yeah. Well, I'm about to say, PC's not a console, is the thing.
It's a console to me.
It's a console to me. PC's a platform. But yeah. Anyways, we are going to move on from that and move on to reacting to a nice little indie game.
Alright, let's see this.
At
least really nice so far.
It reminds me of, what's it called? That other Indonesian slice of life game. Something of the Boundless or whatever. I forgot. I hate that I can't remember the name. I'll look it up real quick. Anyways, everybody knows what I'm referring to.
I'll come back.
He'll come back at some point. Anyways, here's the trailer. Oops. The only reason why I latched onto this a little bit more is because I just came back from the Philippines, so some of the imagery in the game, it's like, wait a minute, I've been here before. I was there. The freaking Leonardo DiCaprio. Hey. hey.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. What does that mean?
Oh my god. I love that meme.
I see legally descript, not Jollibee.
I like the art style so far.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of the indie games coming out with this type of art style I love. And they're just cute. And ready to break your heart. I can feel the humidity in that room.
Oh no. Pain.
Now my question is this game gonna break our hearts in some way?
I have a feeling it will. It has that kind of vibe.
No, I have I have one of the articles linked talking about it, and the description is: in a world still recovering from catastrophe, Mark Borja, I think it's Borja, and his friends navigate the joys and woes of another year of high school. Wake up in a typical teenage room, practice piano, race to meet homework deadlines. No, I don't want to remember. I don't want to remember that from high school. I don't want to remember deadlines.
Absolutely.
Please no, not the deadlines.
God.
Tebow, did you know midterms are coming up?
Oh no, not again.
And build.
Anything but midterms, please.
Oh no! I wonder how flexible this is. Build and burn relationships.
Oh god, it's a dating sim. It feels like it.
Well,
It's a really nice looking
I
visual
don't.
novel.
I don't think.
not
Here's the
gonna
thing.
lie.
I think calling it a dating sim kind of gives it. It's kind of.
It's not a dating sim.
Yeah. If anything, it's a life sim or whatever slice of life thing.
Slice of life, yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely like one of those things where it's like, oh no. If anything, it'd probably be a little bit more fleshed out. What's it called? Social link sim than what we get for Persona. But I think that's the best way to
Yeah, I get
conceptualize
that.
that. Was it?
That's what it feels like so far, based
Yeah.
off of the trailer.
What's it called? By the way, I found the game. I had to go back to my Steam thing. It's called A Space for the Unbound.
Oh,
That was the other one. Now,
okay.
let's see. Just reading the descriptions for this one. Until then, yeah, build or burn relationships as you reminisce about the daily insecurities of high school life. I don't want to. I have insecurities now.
No.
God.
Oh, I feel that.
Yeah. That is until a fateful meeting sets off a chain reaction upending Mark's life. I mean, you guys got one of those in your life.
Yeah.
People disappear and memories prove unreliable. Oh, okay. So this is the weird little twist in the game, because A Space for the Unbound also has some like there's definitely some psychological and other like not supernatural but like paranatural like things happening with its story. The only reason I'm comparing the two is because not because of premise but because of feel, because there's something about like a lot of the indie games that are coming out that are slice of life stuff where it's not psychoanalyzing but like, you know, to examine a character, and this is normal, this is technical, so what Persona did too. you are putting them in an extra paranormal or paranatural situation in their daily life to examine what is going on with them. But I don't think we'll be fighting shadows or whatever. It's just more like thought bubbles and scenes of what's going on in that person's life.
Yeah.
What's it called? What's it called? Uncover a hidden truth with Mark and his friends in this narrative adventure and race to unravel the mystery before it's too late. Does that mean the world is going to end in that game? Because they did say the world's not ending. It might end or something like that. Until then, the game title. Anyways. Play out your own adventure, meet a diverse and... I can't read that word. Anyways, a diverse, a familiar cast of characters to converse with in person, over text, through email, get to know them, build a relationship, flunk group projects. Why are we highlighting something that's already happened in my life?
Oh God, yeah.
Watch how their personal and individual personal stories unfold alongside yours. Investigate the setting through everyday technology. Explore the depths of social media where your likes and comments may pose consequences. Oh no. Just like real life.
God.
Scroll through social media posts, talking about my potato feelings. God,
Yeah.
that was a good meme. Chat with friends. Oh, and here's the cornerstone. Explore themes of love, loss, and friendship. Oh boy, I'm going to be sad. There's of course mini games.
There is some mini games. Looking on the Steam page of it, there is like a little piano, like active time, like little thing, and then there's also like what is this other one? Oh, I don't remember what. But there is some like little mini games in it, and you do have choices, and it does look really nice to play. I'll hear a cooking little sim one too. It looks very cute.
Was it immerse yourself in the cinematic visual experience? Yeah, it looked fairly cinematic the way each of the screens were shot out.
Yeah.
Experience a world inspired by Philippine locations and culture. Yes, I definitely felt that part. And how much of it, well, I'm not going to say how much of it delves into it. It is very much Filipino. Because I can bet the developers are from the Philippines. But yeah, a lot of that stuff, including the Alpha Mart or whatever that is, looks very familiar. God, I can feel... The one thing when I was watching this is I can feel the humidity in this. But moving on...
Always sweating and melting.
Yeah, moving on in terms of new stuff. Oh, not new stuff. Well, going back to the whole Xbox stuff we were just talking about, right? What was it? Because they're probably going to be releasing 4 titles on PlayStation, and that I'm pretty sure it is PlayStation at this point. The upcoming, according to its upcoming fiscal year, whatever it is, basically from April 1st, 2023, and ends in March 31st, 2025. They're just going to be supporting all the current stuff that they have put out, especially like God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2. But it doesn't seem like they're going to have any new AAA releases. Because that's more or less been their bread and butter, blockbuster release of this and that. But it looks like for March and the year going on, for 2024, it doesn't look like they're going to have too much in the way of any major releases. I'm assuming, though, they're going to have some smaller releases. I mean, Helldivers 2 came out, and that was a major success compared to most AAA games. It became so successful, it crashed their servers.
Consistently day by day.
Consistently day by day, and that's where we're going to transition to. So, I haven't been able to make any content or do anything because you and me have been occupied with just playing Helldivers 2 this entire fucking time.
God, it's such a good game. It is so fun. Something about just going out there, destroying automatons and absolutely stomping on fucking bugs is just so entertaining. And something in my little pea brain is just this is what I want to do. I want to spread democracy and destroy planets. It is so much fun, even with sometimes by yourself, but with friends is where the real bread and butter is.
And that's where it's so goddamn addicting. But the problem
I know.
is, like,
The servers.
the servers. Well, now it's gotten better, but they're still
Yeah,
having
thankfully,
glitches. They've definitely had glitches. And the funny thing is, I was listening to an old what's it called, a behind the scenes thing, one of those
Mhm.
behind PlayStation Access trailers for Helldivers 2 before it released. So this was like a week before it released. And it kind of clues in on why they were having trouble, not only with the servers, but also just the back end code, because that's what they kept highlighting in a lot of their tweets, going, well, we're
Yeah.
trying to adjust. It isn't just about the server size. We're trying to make sure that the back end code works. And it's like, what was that? So in the PlayStation Access trailer for Helldivers 2, the way they were describing how the game functioned, right, was it's similar to a game master, the AI director. It's kind of like, the AI director for Left 4 Dead. So you're doing it a little too well, it'll drop more of a certain kind of zombies and things like that. So they were doing something similar, but apparently they were also having members of their team actively look at players as they're going.
Yeah.
And so sometimes those live employees will actively drop things in either to help or hinder you. And that was how they were describing that essentially not only is the AI adjusting things because both the bugs and the automatons have their own goals.
Yeah.
So even though we've liberated, let's say because we liberated Angel's Reach or whatever it was called, Angel's Wing, whatever the sector was, now the bugs are thinking, okay, where are we? We're going to try to maybe flank them or do this or spawn over here. For automatons, well, we know it's like, well, shit's really hard in Magellan Creek, hence Space Vietnam. No liberation has come to there.
God.
And like a lot, and that's why we've like had the recent like world event change from because they did everybody who jumped in the game concentrated on the bugs. Well, because nobody really went over to the automatons, now the automatons are now invading the sectors, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we got a lot of defend missions recently. Now, where that probably plays into the server issues is that, again, I have a feeling they probably were anticipating a player population at the very least in the thousands, at the most in the tens of thousands. They weren't expecting to getting players up to past 450,000 to almost 500,000 people trying to get in. And all because
at one consecutive time.
Yeah, and the thing is, I at least was able to play when it initially released, before the server issues were happening, and it's because of people like me who are like going, this game is so much fucking fun.
Exactly.
Everybody were just jumping in, and everybody who like saw the intro trailers or the cinematics were going, oh, it's like Starship Troopers. And also a lot of people coming from the Starship Trooper game, was it Extermination? Because right now, sadly, that game, they've been updating it. I hope it gets better, but right now the game sadly, the way that Starship Troopers Extermination is set right now, it's kind of too broken to play it. So that one, sadly, everybody's got to wait for it to like kind of catch up in its own updates to be more playable again. So it's funny. So it's a mixture of people from that community and then general, the general
random people.
Yeah, or people who already played the other Helldivers, jumping in and then going, oh my god, this is so much fun. This is so good.
Yeah.
And it just spread because I know. When the day I was playing it, and you guys were like, "Hey, you want to play something?" Sorry, I'm playing Helldivers right now. I'm too busy playing Helldivers. And then even when we were in VC, you guys were playing something else. You could just hear me screaming, like, "Oh my god!" And I was just soloing shit. And so everybody jumping in. But the main reason, again, returning to what I was talking about, the backend code. Well, now since everybody had to all their employees, because it's still a small studio. You got to remember, despite being published by Sony, it is a small studio, and these are the guys who made Magicka. If you guys don't know that game, it's another 4-player game where friendly fire is on, and you are going to blow each other up. That means what's it called? When the servers got full, they had to pull everybody that they could to try to fix that stuff. And so I think what probably happened, and this isn't any informed thing, this is just me guessing from what I kind of sussed at, is that now only a few people were trying to help out the AI and trying to set things for people in different servers, but there can only be so many people watching those servers now. Because the idea again was that both the AI game master and a team of employees were going to look at people who are playing and then actively, change the parameters depending on what is happening with them. Like, are they doing too good? Are they doing worse? Do they need help? Do they not? Do they need more of a challenge in that instant? But because I think there was less people on that, and because they're all working on like trying to help the servers, I think what happened was the AI itself now was left on its own for the most part.
Yeah.
And AI, I just mean like the general, like the normal like game AI that we see it like again like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah,
and stuff like
movement
that.
patterns, and
Yeah,
then
things.
just like what we need
Where
do.
to spawn things, because like when we were playing, right, it kind of explains
Yeah.
why when we were playing one of the defense missions, right, it spawned an entire bot squad right on
Just a group.
right on top of not only us, but where the scientists would spawn. I'm like, oh Jesus! Now, granted, somebody could say maybe that was one of the developers going, well, I'm going to mess with them, maybe. But the way it kind of
them real quick.
but the way it kind of scatters some of the spawn rates, right? It definitely seems like, okay, the AI is really trying to think, okay, I gotta figure this out. Here are the parameters I'm seeing. Here. Good luck.
Better start praying, nerd.
And I think in some ways it actually worked out for the better, because again, the memes behind me of Space Vietnam with freaking Magellan Creek,
Yeah,
that thing is still a hellhole.
it really is. It never is gonna die down. It's God bless.
Yeah. And definitely that's one of those games where it's like, oh God, we need more people in this. Just because it's just good to have that large player base. And I love how people are going, get the Xbox players in here.
Yeah,
They have experience. But I also like I also like how the devs have been responding to the entire like situation. And they've been responding fairly well to it too. Because it's like, oh, is it somebody tweet?
Now patches as well.
Yeah, and I like how somebody was tweeting like, "Oh, should I really want to get this, man, but I've been hearing what's going on,
yeah.
but man, I really want to play it." One of the devs was like, I think it was the CEO. It was like,
It was the CEO.
yeah,
I know
he's
what you're
like,
talking about.
don't buy it. I mean, we appreciate the money and everything, and whatever. Don't buy it right now. The servers are full. Come back when we can actually service you.
Yeah, which is very admirable. I'm very happy that they're willing to like tell you, like, yeah, just hold on a little bit. We need a little bit of time to get our shit straight and have space to entertain you. I don't want you to spend your money on a game you can't play immediately, which is very great. I'm happy for them.
And I love, like, in the midst of all of that, because we were experiencing it. Hell, I was experiencing freaking black screen the entire fucking time.
God, yeah.
And then, like, one of the recent bugs we've ran into at what's it called? That I ran into when I was trying to play with Sev and Dante and Moop.
Yeah.
I kept trying to join, and it would zip me mid-drop back to my ship.
Oh.
And I just couldn't join anybody. It kept doing that to me. And I was playing with Acer
God.
in as well. And this time I was hosting. It kept doing that to him.
Oh no.
Or kicking him out of the party in mid-mission. I'm like, what is happening? So there's still a lot that needs to be fixed. And I don't... It's funny. That is more infuriating than waiting for the queue. Because at this point, the queue became this thing of like, how long you wait? I waited 6 hours. I waited 8.
Oh. God, yeah.
Just to get in. It was one of those things where it's like, I'm mad about that, but I'm not that mad about it. What I'm more mad about was like when you're able to enter the fucking game, and then now you can't really play with your friends. I mean, I'm fine with
Then
playing
you
solo.
gotta hop back into the queue.
Yeah, I'm fine with playing solo, but like, again, I'm not the greatest at this game, and I've been trying to play the harder difficulties. But again, you gotta play it. I mean, there are people who definitely love the hard difficulties, especially playing solo. That's fine. That's them. That's not me. Because I have to draw the line where it's like where it becomes the chore to try to upgrade my ship, or if I actually want to have fun, right? And that's why it's like I play on lower difficulties, because it's like these are fun for me, because I can solo it without being too like. And again, the beauty of the game is every single time you drop, it never feels the same, even if you have the same mission types.
Yeah, absolutely.
every single scenario, what would happen in that scenario changes, and you never know when that's gonna happen, and that's why it becomes so addicting. Because it's like, well, this goofy shit happened
It
here.
feels new every single time.
Yeah, it's almost always unintentional comedic timing. Because I think when we were playing, right, you're like, Barry, that's a landmine, huh?
It blows up.
And then you see me fly halfway
God.
across the map, and "Ah!" Actually, there was one
Some of
time.
the physics are beautiful too.
There was one time you fucking called in called in your freaking 380, right?
Oh God.
It got me, knocked me into a spore bundle. That thing exploded,
Oh, no.
and I went all the way across the map and landed in the water, and was going, Helldiver, you're leaving the combat area. I'm like,
No.
I gotta swim back. Hold on.
No.
The thing is, I don't
They
think
just
you.
nuke you.
Yeah, I don't think you remember that one because it was just so chaotic.
There was just so much happening. Honestly, it's always fucking a mess.
It was
I
one
love
of
it so much, though.
yeah, I love it so much. It was one of the things that's like I should have recorded that, but I'm like, you know what? I want to enjoy this game so fucking much.
God.
But it's just like this game just lives in my brain rent free.
It's so sporadic.
Yeah. Granted, now I'm taking a break from it because
Yeah, me too.
I'm not burnt out from it, but I'm also trying to stave off my like. I need to go back. I need to go back.
The withdrawals are hitting.
I know, because I also have like other things that I gotta go commit to now, real quick.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Golly. Speaking of games, when popping into this thing, and the
Yeah.
levels of goofiness and self like awareness that are in this, it reminds me a lot of EDF, Earth Defense Force.
Yeah, it does.
And God, I hope it reaches the same freaking levels of goofiness as Earth Defense Force. I really do. Because sadly, Earth Defense Force 6 is not coming out in March.
No.
I was looking forward to it and hoping that it would come out in March. Or like it said coming out spring, but now it looks like
It's getting pushed back a little bit further.
yeah. 'Cause I'm looking at the Gematsu article. According to the company, the launch window has extended to add finishing touches and finalizing necessary preparations for EDF and the EDF 6 for Western launch. Meanwhile, in Asia, it will still launch in Asia for the PS4 and PS5 with English audio and text on March 14th. But sadly, for us over here in the West, in the Americas or England or wherever, we will not see it until they don't know when. It's still up in the air.
God.
But if you're in Asia, you can get the English version. Yeah.
Way sooner than the rest of us.
God. It's funny too because the graphics on it still look like they're out of the PS2 era, but it's still like. But the thing is, I don't care because like I still love what like somebody talked about.
As
It's
long as
like
you're having fun.
yeah, somebody would like okay. Somebody joked about like how the developers were thinking. It's like okay, do we want more bugs on the screen or higher fidelity? More bugs on screen.
Bugs.
More
Yeah.
bugs. And speaking of bugs, fun fact about Helldivers. I didn't know this until I watched one of Bricky's. I think it was Bricky's videos. Apparently, it's running in the same engine as what was it? Dark Tide.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why it looks actually fairly good. But also some of it because like,
God.
wait a minute, this looks familiar. but I like how you said it. It's like no wonder the game can run so well with so many mobs on
I
screen.
know, yeah.
Because, like, as much as I joke about EDF suddenly becomes less a fight for Earth and more of a fight for your frame rate. So far, Helldivers, I haven't had too much of that. Only occasionally because explosions and then high population. but
Yeah.
that's only here and there. I haven't really had too much frame rate issues.
I only had issues with like attempts. I haven't gotten anywhere close to overheating because my PC just like kicks on and you can like it feels like I'm sitting next to like a space heater.
Oh, honestly, no.
But
Because
it runs really, really good.
yeah, what's it called? I've been having that same thing too because it's been cold lately, and then when I leave my room, I'm like,
Yeah.
boy, it's really warm, and I get out. Oh, why is it cold outside? Oh yeah, because my PC has been the heater the entire time.
It's cooking me alive out here.
The last time my PC did that was me playing Diablo in the middle of summer.
Oh God.
Which is really funny because I was like, oh god, I'm in my underwear. I'm like I still have my t-shirt on, but I'm like, I got the fan and everything going, and just like, I gotta stay hydrated.
God, I'm just trying to game here. My space heater's just flaring up.
Because I think that was the only other time I ever felt like a freaking sweaty ass gamer.
Yeah, honestly, me too. I felt that.
God.
Coincidentally, my PC also ran really hot trying to play Diablo. Honestly.
All right, we're heading toward the end, but before we finish off with talking about Helldivers, because we have one more thing I want to talk about, but more nostalgia bait. Somebody finally put the flag anthem of Super Earth extracted from the game files. I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna play it. But I put it in the I
saw.
Yeah, I put it in the server. But dude, I read the lyrics. It is so great, and you guys have to take a listen for yourself when you can. It's easy to look up now because before I just could not find it. This is the theme that plays when you have those missions where you have to raise the flag over the planet. So the lyrics go, verse 1, freedom must reign over every last star, through citizens' hearts in the all-righteous thoughts. Honor their debts, do your parts for the cause. The chorus then leads to the chorus saying, steadfast support, overachieve, it's known, I think it's either mankind or humankind, will reign supreme. No questions or doubts shall be allowed. Traitors will be disavowed.
God.
The second verse it leads into goes, managed democracy is the true path. All who resist it shall suffer our wrath. White, yellow, blue fly over their worlds, which is the color of the Super Earth flag. Justice and hope are forever unfurled. The next chorus made me fucking laugh. Our way of life, galaxy-wide, paved with the skulls of those who've died.
Oh.
Unsinkable tide of Super Earth pride, a torrent that can't be satisfied. And then the final verse is, we sacrifice for paradise. Anything less will not suffice. Citizens rise. Liberty rides. Super Earth prides up to the skies. And I'm like, holy crap.
God.
If anybody takes this game seriously, I am sorry for you. Because this is out right next to Starship Troopers, the movie. This is just such an outright parody of exactly what you think it's supposed to be.
It's beautiful. I love this.
It is so on the nose that it's just funny, and I
really is.
I love that. I love this for the game.
I love that they committed to this so much.
Dude, I love that the voice actors committed to it. I like how somebody said
God,
because
yeah.
somebody said because it's published by Sony, they by default get Yuri Lowenthal to voice for free. I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but Yuri Lowenthal is one of the male voices for your characters, and I think it's just so funny. I selected him too because I just want to hear the fucking screaming in this game.
God, yeah, I love the fucking screaming. Some of the lines are just horrendous. I love it.
Liberty never sleeps.
Yeah. Oh, some of the screams when you get hit are beautiful, or when you like fall head first. Oh, I love them so much.
Oh god. But anyways, the final thing we're going to talk about is apparently Capcom had a survey about what kind of games folks want, like if there's any new games or remakes for any of their franchises, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I mean, personally for me, I would love to see Dino Crisis because it was one of the games I never got to actually play but always saw. We do have Onimusha, but it wasn't really remastered. It was just kind of roughly ported and kind of prettied up. I have it, but I really wish they did a full-blown remaster or a remake. But there's a bunch of stuff with Onimusha that's like, that's kind of hard to do. But I would love to see the entire trilogy brought back. Same thing with Lost Planet.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, it's like, there's actually not too many, what do you call it? There's actually not too many Capcom games I've actually played.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like too many of them.
Yeah.
Personally.
I mean, the only other ones I could see that I'm from the article list that I'm looking at was like some fighting games, but those words it's like more like touch them up, but like they're classics. They're fighting games.
Yeah.
What was it? I'm pretty sure Okami has a. Yeah, that one had an HD remaster, just an HD, not remaster, just HD.
Yeah, just HD, just prettied up.
Yeah. God, the Dead Rising franchise. I don't know where that thing is. I'm pretty sure it died already. I remember the first one, and that was fun, but like, I don't know. I don't know what that game was anymore. It was stupid fun, but I don't know where it went. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, if there's any like Capcom games that are close to your hearts, guys, comment down below which ones. Yeah, let us know. Comment down below what you would like to see, whether or not it's obscure. Because I would love to know. It's always fun to learn about games you've never heard of. Because I end up going to look at them, and you end up finding a new appreciation for these things. Especially the harder ones. Like you're like, oh, I've never heard of this thing. Oh, that's really cool. And like, even though some of them might be old and janky, you can still appreciate the effort that went into some of them. Yeah, because I've been down the rabbit hole, like looking at some, what do you call it, obscure horror games, where it's like, I've never heard of this thing. Where the heck was this thing? And you find out like, oh, the story behind and things like that. You know, those kinds of essay channels.
Yeah.
So those
hiding under your nose the whole time.
Yeah, or hiding under your bed.
Hey yo.
Hey yo.
Hey yo.
Yeah, but that being said, our topic, we were mostly reacting to stuff and not really talking too much about things. But that's honestly what I've gotten, what I was interested for the past month or so. Because honestly, most of it was just, as you can see behind us,
Helldivers.
Just Helldivers.
Helldivers.
Just every morning woke up, Helldivers.
Helldivers, wait my turn in queue and blow shit up.
Exactly. But other than that, so far, anything new going on with you, Timo, that you'd like everybody to know about?
New, not much. We're just balling, you know? We're living the dream, you know?
Maybe one day we'll see you.
Maybe one day.
You'll see that stream notification pop up and say, Timo Wujin is streaming Epic 7.
I thought about it and it's like, dang, my internet is dog shit sometimes. I was like, I need to find a new provider because this is getting awful.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask what your current provider is, but I can assume it's really, real bad.
It's dog water. Dog water.
The next thing you know, when I ask you, you go like, it literally is called dog water Wi-Fi.
No, fortunately not, yeah.
Okay.
Like, sometimes it's really good and other times it's really fucking ass.
Yeah.
So,
I'll
work on it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to attempt to stream soon. I know I've been saying it for the past week, but let's be real. Helldivers was taking up most of my time, and some other stuff in my life also popped up too. I just need to do some days where I got to test the upload speed and some other stuff to see if it will do all right, because I need to try.
Stable.
Yeah, just test it. What time of the day would be optimal for me to stream at? Mostly for internet, not for viewership, not for the who would be awake at that time. I mean,
I think you should do it at night when all the kids are no longer up and taking up all the internet.
Here's the thing. Yes and no, because sometimes it's a ball toss. Because sometimes my internet gets really, really bad at night.
Really?
And around the upload speed lowers. And the thing is, I can only assume it's the service provider switching servers or whatever.
Low gear.
Yeah. So it's like, because the thing with internet, it doesn't just come from one mega server or whatever. It goes to whatever the nearest one is that isn't populated, right, or whatever, and it moves you around. That's why your internet can vary between the day. Granted, please correct me in the comments about how internet fucking service works, because that's just me spitballing it, because I just do a speed test. I just do a speed test, and it tells me it's the ping is coming from somewhere totally outside of my area, and some of it close to me. But none of them in my actual area, so it's like, all right, I guess that's how the internet works.
I'm not a professional, so
yeah,
anything helps.
Other than that, I do have I'm still recording some stuff for March coming up soon, and those will be scheduled out. I am probably not for this month, but the month following March. What was the month following March? April.
Yeah.
April. Yeah, I will try to upload on my Twitter and on the YouTube channel a schedule. Now, granted, it's not a streaming schedule. It's more like what days what will be uploaded those days, or not uploaded, what will be available those days once, because I try to upload within a week after like recording everything, and then I schedule them out. So I'll try to put that up, but I have to make a template. I need to make a template or find one.
Drawing time.
Even though it's not a streaming template, it's more a streaming schedule. It's more just like, hey, here's what's going to be popping up this month. Because I know I've not been consistent with what exactly I'll upload. It's more like what I feel like recording at the time. But at least for the most part, I should try to be consistent of saying, hey, here's what you can watch this month. And then here's what's going to pop up this month. That's the plan. I don't know if that's going to be the execution. We'll find out.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. And then transitioning to streaming, that'll be an eventuality. I do plan on it. It's just I don't know when. And when they do happen, of course, I'll post on Twitter and stuff like that and go like, hey, I'm streaming.
Here I am. I'm live right here at twitch.com bearing up.
Oh, well, you guys can always follow that. I already like set up some of the channel rule stuff in there. So, yeah. But other than that, I don't think there's anything else to talk about for now. Granted, we're missing a whole bunch of stuff, but these are the things I could find, or this is what the things I was interested in talking about for this week. At the end of this month, there were topics definitely that I'm interested in that I just didn't want to talk about. One, because it's either too heated, or two, I'm just not interested in actually talking about that as content, even though it'd be great, for numbers. For me, it's like my heart isn't into it. I'm more into it just as a viewer, just seeing how much of a
as a bystander.
Yeah, as a bystander of how much that yacht is sinking. Anyways, that's all I'll say about that. Anyways, for the most part, I'll see you guys later, my fellow space jockeys, and have a wonderful time.
Bye-bye.